Konnichiwa, Nihon Cricket Pod Yokoso. Welcome to the Japan Cricket Podcast. I'm your co-host, Alan Kerr, and with me is my buddy Todd Luckhurst. Hello, Todd. How are you?
Hello, Alan. Welcome all to the fourth episode of the podcast, I think, for this season. I'm pretty good. It's a bit cold and rainy here in Melbourne, but you're in sunny England, I believe, Alan, still.
I'm still in England, and it is still sunny, remarkably. Got 2 more days left. By the time this goes out, I will probably be back in Japan, which, from looking at the weather recently, is nudging 40 degrees. So that'll be fun. I'd probably rather stay here, to be honest. But yeah, got to get back eventually. Been a good couple of weeks in the UK. What's been happening in Melbourne, Todd? It was a big weekend of sport over there. Did you get down to the MCG?
Didn't go to MCG. I went to the AFL football Friday night, but there was lots of British Lions supporters wearing their kit at the AFL Friday night, which is quite amusing. They were all smashing beers and having a good time. And then, of course, Saturday night they had the big test match between the Wallabies, who I must say I don't know anything about rugby, but I'm hearing that they were robbed of the result.
Is that the take in Australia? Is it?
That's what everyone in Australia is saying. I don't know if that what the guy did was wrong or not, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I can
you'd
clarify.
be better to say what happened there, Alan. I think.
I can clarify that it was fine. One interesting little factoid to come out of the weekend, from my point of view: Harry Wilson captains the Wallabies. He's from Brisbane, and he is the brother of Sam Wilson, who played in the JPL this year. So
Ah,
I only found that out this weekend. I thought Kendall might have mentioned that one of our JPL players was the brother of the Wallabies captain. So yeah, nice little snippet there. It was good to see Harry. He spoke very well. He played very well. Sam was all over social media and was caught on TV crying after the final whistle. So yeah, emotional weekend for our JPL player.
yeah, big weekend. I did see on Kendall's Instagram that he was posting a bit about the Wallabies, so that makes more sense.
Yeah, it does make a bit more sense. So yeah, big weekend of sport for the Lions. It was a test match with India going on. It's ended in a rather boring draw, and last night I saw the England women's team retain the Euros title. So a lot of sport going on, but we're not here to talk about that, are we, Todd? We're here to talk about the cricket. So there's been a bit going on in Japan cricket as well. A few announcements this week. We had the men's touring squad, touring team to Sri Lanka was announced. 18 players who will be jetting off on Friday, I think. So that's an exciting thing for the Japan men's team to look forward to. Certainly a lot of reaction to it on our social media. The fact that we are touring Sri Lanka. I'll just whiz through the squad quickly and then give you a bit of background to the tour. The squad list: we've got Abhishek Anand, Benjamin Ito Davis, Charlie Harry Hinds, Kendall Kalawaki Fleming will captain this team. Kazuma Kato Stafford, Kohei Kubota, Piyush Kumbare is back. Wataru Miyauchi, Isam Rahman is a new addition to the squad. Sabaris Ravichandran, Reo Sakurano Thomas, Abdul Samad, Alexander Shilai Patmore, Sharma Sugaya Slater, Declan Suzuki Mukombe, Ibrahim Takahashi, Makoto Taniyama, and Lachlan Yamamoto Lake. So only really the one new name in there, which is Isam Rahman. What do you make of the squad, Todd?
Strong squad. Is Ramen from ACT Comments?
Isam Rahman from the ACT Comets. Yeah, Isam was born in Japan. Interesting background. His parents were, his father was doing a master's down in Kyushu, some 20 odd years ago. And Isam was, so his father, both his parents are from Bangladesh. But he was born here, lived here till he was about 5, I think. Went to nursery school here, and then his parents relocated to Australia. So Isam doesn't even have Bangladeshi citizenship, as far as I understand. He's been brought up in Australia, played all his cricket there, but yeah, due to the fact that he was born in Japan, he is eligible. So he's coming on this tour kind of as a JPL. He didn't know he was eligible to play for Japan until after the JPL. He discovered that through a conversation with someone who's also playing up in Darwin at from the Philippines, who qualified for the Philippines through birth. And so yeah, he reached out and wanted to explore how he could get involved. And after a bit of conversation amongst the selectors, we decided to give him an opportunity here. So he's not officially added to the squad in terms of the men's overall squad. He's in this touring team really as a trial, and we'll see how he goes. And if he fits in and performs well, yeah, he'll have a chance to play. So exciting opportunity for him. It's always good to get more strength and depth in the group. So other than that, the touring group looks pretty standard, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, not good squad. Yeah, good to see Issam Rahman being added to the squad going on a tour. Good to see Piyush back from the States. His first tour for a while, Alan.
Yeah, so he wouldn't have featured since October and the men's sub-regional when we went to Korea, and he was pretty effective
Of
over there as he
course,
always
of
is.
course.
Um, but yeah, he wasn't able to attend the JPL this year, so we haven't seen him for a while. Yeah, he's been playing his cricket in the US, and yeah, looking forward to having him back amongst the group. A couple of young boys in there as well. Good to see Charlie and Kazuma both involved, still very much part of the under-19s. So they'll be bringing a bit of youthful energy to the group.
Yeah, good to see them involved, and good to see Shomar Sugaya Slater also involved on the tour, which will be good.
Yeah, a chance to have another look at him. So the tour itself came about largely because of our partnership with Sri Lanka Cricket. So um, that partnership's now been running for goodness, I mean, we're into our second year, I guess. But so we had the first meaningful activities happening last year with players going to the LPL. We had players coming over to play in the Women's Premier League both last year and this year. This is the first time we've sent so more than two people over to Sri Lanka. So it's been quite a lot of work to try and put this thing together. But Sri Lanka Cricket have been assisting from afar, and they've been organising all the opposition for us. So we're kind of waiting to see exactly who we're up against. To be honest, I did have a schedule or an opposition list sent through this week. It's going to be mainly against some regional under-19 teams and perhaps a few senior players thrown into the mix as well. So it should be good opposition. Sachit Patharana, who's been sort of coaching consultant for us for the last sort of 6 to 9 months, he's been over there, been involved trying to make sure the opponents are the right sort of standard. I mean, these guys are hopefully preparing us for games against some of the best teams in the Asia region. So yeah, we're certainly hoping it's going to be a good standard. We do have a lot to thank the Sri Lankan, the Japanese embassy in Sri Lanka for. This partnership was really created through, I think we touched on this in the last pod, Katsuki-san, who has given us a lot of assistance in setting up this partnership. He's not there anymore. He's actually moved to London. Yeah, he's played a big part in getting this all put together. And I believe the Japan embassy is going to be hosting the boys on night one for a dinner. So should be an exciting trip. Any questions about it from you, Todd? Anything you wanted to know about this tour?
I was just having a look at this schedule. So we've got games at, is it Magona
Yeah, so they're
and
playing
Colombo?
playing in both Colombo and Magona. Magona's about an hour and a half south of Colombo. Looks like a nice, sort of quiet, beachy resort. It's a place called Surrey Hills. And yeah, 7 matches or 7 match days. But I know Dougal's kind of taken over the running of things now whilst I've been on holiday, and he's looking to add a few fixtures because we've got the match venue for the whole day each time. So looking to see if we can maybe play 2 games in a day. So that's 7 match days, but that might stretch out to 9, maybe even 10 games. Because when you've got 18 players, it's an opportunity to have a look at more guys, and you're only going to have what 2 or 3 guys playing twice in a day. So a chance to spread the love a little bit with the team and make sure everyone gets plenty of work in.
Yeah, more games the better always, especially when doing a tour, warming up for a big tournament in October. I see the is it the Hindi paper Sports Star reached out to you, Alan, for some comments,
They did. Has that been
which is always
published?
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just that's how I found the where the venues were. They've published it on
Oh, yeah.
their page, the sportstar.hindu.com.
I completely forgot about that. Yeah, the interview I did last week with the chap called Pryan.
Pranay?
Pranay, that was him. Yeah, nice fella. Yeah, he reached out, and it's good. This, as I mentioned before, the social media post on Instagram for this tour has got sort of 22,000 comments on it. So it's been yeah, well received. A lot of interest. 22,000 likes, sorry. but the,
Fantastic.
the post itself has reached, pull this up, it's reached over 600,000 people. So yeah, it's good that these kind of posts, these kind of tours do attract attention. They do get people's interest levels up. Unfortunately, none of the matches are going to be live streamed, but we will be hopefully scoring them all on the JCA app. So that will be the place to follow the results. And and yeah, I just hope it's a good tour for the boys. I hope the weather holds out. It looks sort of hot and a bit of rain around because it's that time of year in Sri Lanka. But with a bit of luck, that they won't be too impacted by that. And yeah, hopefully it's just good. As much as anything else, it's good to get all the boys together in the group because they haven't been together since May. And this is the only time they'll be together before traveling to Oman for the regional finals. So yeah, it's a bit for them to do. And you know, we're taking 18 on this trip. We'll whittle that down to 15 for the regional finals. So well, I don't expect there to be anyone from outside of this group being selected for that regional final, but you never know. But it looks like that's where the selectors are at right now. And yeah, I think it's a pretty strong group. It's just trying to figure out who the unlucky three are, I guess.
Yeah, be sure. Of course, everyone will get a game and show what they can do. And unfortunately, there's always some who have to miss out. So I'm sure it'll be a tough decision for the selectors moving into the next tournament.
Yeah, well, hopefully these games will make the decision a bit easier, or maybe not. You know, maybe it might become even harder with different guys putting their hands up. So yeah, we'll see. You mentioned that article. Did it list who we were playing against? I can't remember if I gave Pranay the fixture list.
No, it doesn't say who playing against. Just at least list the fixtures. Yeah.
But yeah, it's mainly these regional teams. I think the provinces have all got under 19 teams, so that will be who we're going to be up against, and I think that should be yeah, it should be good opposition. All of that leads into Oman, so we've got the dates and we've got the fixtures sorted out for that regional final. I think the guys will be flying out of Japan around the 31st of September, arriving in around the 1st of October. And yeah, the draw is out. The matches are confirmed. So Group A is the UAE, Malaysia, and Qatar. Group B is Nepal, Kuwait, and Japan. And Group C is the host Oman, along with Papua New Guinea and Samoa. So they've done this draw by seedings. So UAE were seeded 1, Malaysia seeded 6, Qatar seeded 7. Group B, Nepal seeded 2, Kuwait seeded 5, and Japan seeded 8. And in Group C, Oman seeded 3, Papua New Guinea seeded 4, and Samoa seeded 9. So they kind of do it on a snake system. We'll get 2 warm-up matches. So we'll play against Samoa on October the 3rd under lights, which should be interesting. And then we'll play against the UAE on October the 5th before we get into the big matches. So we got Kuwait on the 9th and Nepal on the 10th of October. And then depending on those results, we'll either be coming home or we'll be pushing on into the second round to play all the other teams that have progressed. So it'll be 4 more matches if we do manage to get through that group stage. So Todd, I know you've been doing a little bit of research into our upcoming opponents.
Yeah, so we'd have a look at both Kuwait and Nepal recent results. So start off with Kuwait, of course, Japan playing on the 9th of October. So looking at their recent results, they've just come off playing in a tournament back in December. They played in the Golf T20 Championship, which they were beaten in the final by UAE in a tight game. Kuwait made 151 and UAE got the runs 9 wickets down with 3 balls to go after being 8 for 113, which Kuwait was seemingly in control. Then they've played in a they end up getting beat, of course. They played in a quadrangular T20 series in Hong Kong against Hong Kong, Nepal, and Qatar, where they beat Nepal in the final in another close match, which Kuwait posted 174 for 7. Nepal bowled all out for 171 with 3 balls to go. So their form's been pretty strong in the region. They've also got this. I think it's Cricket World Cup Challenge Group A matches coming up next month against Jersey, PNG, Denmark, and Kenya. 50 over cricket, so they're playing plenty of cricket at the moment. They have played plenty of cricket. Just one player to watch with the ball is the left-arm spinner Yasin Patel. He's taken 32 T20I wickets in the last calendar month at an average of 13.34.
Yeah, he's going okay, isn't he? Just as well, we've got a few left arm spinners ourselves to try and practice playing against those guys. I think yeah, I mean they look like a strong team, don't they? I'm sure a lot of our listeners, a lot of our fans probably don't know a lot about Q8. They're not a team that gets talked about an awful lot. My nephew over here is cricket mad, and he'd never heard of Q8 at all. So I was having to explain to him where it is and how they go. But yeah, it's a tough group. Look, there's no doubt about that. Those guys mixing it with teams like Nepal and UAE you mentioned in there, like the UAE just beat Bangladesh in the three-match series, so they're pretty strong teams. So we're going to have our work cut out, but the Q8 would be the one that we'd probably be targeting to begin with, just on seedings. But you've done a bit of research into Nepal, of course. Both our under 19s, our under 16s have played against them relatively recently, and our women played against them 2 years ago as well. So first time the Japan men's team will be up against them. What have you found out about Nepal, Todd?
So just look at their recent results. They went to the same Hong Kong tournament as Kuwait, where they lost the final. They then went to Scotland for the Cricket World Cup League Two 50 over cricket series and won two out of the three games, beating Netherlands twice, Scotland once before Scotland beat them in the reverse fixture.
Yeah, it was an incredible
This
series that actually did follow some of that. There was some very, very tight games.
There's some good scores too, a couple 300s, and
Yeah.
it's good to see. They then played a T20 try series. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So they played Scotland and the Netherlands, where Nepal lost their first game to the Netherlands in what I've never seen before in the third super over. So the first super over, both teams made 19. The second super over, both made 17. And you might know a bit more about this than me, Alan, but in the third super over, Nepal lost two wickets. So they made zero. I don't know if you lose two wickets, you're all out.
Yeah, that's
But
how it works.
Netherlands hit the first ball for six.
Yeah, super over is two wickets and finished. So
Okay.
yeah, not all out. Blimey, I'm not sure hitting the six was necessary, but I guess they had the whole field in.
Yeah, they then beat Scotland in a low scoring game in the next fixture, chasing the target of 98 with one ball to spare. And they then beat the Netherlands before losing their final match to Scotland. They're also playing a three-match T20I series against the West Indies in
Oh,
Sharjah starting September 25th.
geez, okay.
And the players to watch are Kushal Patel, who's made 448 runs from his last 14 innings at 37.3. And with the board's leg spinner, Sandeep Lamishane, I think he played for the Hobart Hurricanes. He's
Yeah,
taken 17 wickets in eight matches and averaged 10.35. So he'll be one to watch in the tournament.
yeah, they're a good team. There's no doubt about that. And I mean, the fact that they're out playing against the West Indies and they've been mixing it with Scotland and Netherlands, that just shows that they are a level up on where we are at the moment. But the great thing about T20 cricket, of course, is opportunities for upsets. And the shorter the game, the more likely a team is able to get away. One thing I was going to mention as well, actually, I don't know if you've followed. There was a series in Hong Kong just last week, I think, with can't remember who was playing in it now. I reckon it was Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, and Samoa. And the Samoan captain, Darius Visser, I think his name is the guy who got famous last year for hitting six sixes and over. He hit back to back hundreds in those games. I think against one against Malaysia and one against Hong Kong. So, I mean, they lost both games, but it does show that one player can really have a big impact. So, we'll be looking at our guys and seeing who's going to be the one to stand up in these matches because ultimately it's going to come down to the batters getting the runs on the board. Um, but it shows that even in the associate world, even some of these unfancied teams have got players who can have a big impact. So, yeah, it's going to be some exciting cricket, hopefully.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're always a chance in T20. I was just saying, you got 110 against Hong Kong
yeah,
out of 100 and 159.
yeah,
Good effort. 60
fair effort.
balls.
Fair effort. And I think he got another 100 as well, either the day before or the day after. It was good couple of days for him. Probably playing at Mission Road, which it is a little ground, but you've still got to clear the ropes. Um, the moving on from the men, we've got the women's tournament. Um, the Japan women's team will be going to their own World Cup qualifier. slightly different structure for the women. They play um, in a regional tournament first, which has all the teams from the region, and then that goes into a global qualifier. So I think one team from each region goes through to the global qualifier, which I guess will include teams who have come back from the World Cup last time. And then there'll be however many places are up for grabs at the World Cup. So for our women's team, the tournament was usually up until now has been a 7 team tournament, but there has been a change. They've added the Philippines to the East Asia Pacific group, which is, it's exciting to have another team joining. In fact, we might get to this later, Todd, but you may have seen that there are a couple more teams added to the ICC membership after the recent AGM in Singapore, and Timor-Leste will be joining the East Asia Pacific region. Not quite sure which group they're going to be going into, but yeah, good to see more countries getting involved. The Philippines, of course, have been around for a while, and our men's team have played against them plenty of times. But for the women, of course, we had them in Japan in June. But first time the women's team are going to be competing in a EAP tournament, so we'll probably know a little bit more about them than most. So rather than one group of 7, it's now 2 groups of 4, and that will go into semi-finals and then a final. So it's a good tournament structure, just the one place up for grabs. We're quite used to seeing in these EAP tournaments, everyone plays each other and then just the winner goes through. But this is quite nice, bit of a flashback to or a throwback to old times, actually having a proper tournament final. So that should be quite exciting. The squad for this one, no major surprises. Ahilia Chandel, Ayumi Fujikawa, Hinase Goto, Haruna Iwasaki, Shimako Kato comes back after missing the spring matches. Ayaka Kato Stafford, Elena Kasuda Nairn, Akari Nishimura, Erika Oda, Kurumi Ota, Seikasumi, Erika Toguchi Quinn, Mai Yanagida will captain, and Nonohai Yasumoto. So no one in line for a debut. It's all pretty established players in that group. So yeah, it should be a team that's raring to go after their win over Hong Kong earlier in the year, and hopefully looking to make a push in this tournament, having finished 4th in the last edition 2 years ago. In that tournament, they finished behind Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and Vanuatu, but comfortably ahead of Samoa, Cook Islands, and Fiji. The girls will travel over a couple of days early and hopefully play 2 matches against Fiji prior to the tournament starting. All the flights for that are now booked, which is one piece of admin that I don't have to worry about. But yeah, it looks like it should be a good tournament, hey, Todd?
Yeah, it should be a good tournament. Now, of course, Japan got Papua New Guinea's, Philippines, and Samoa. What do you take of that group?
Yeah, look, I think it's not dissimilar to what the under-16s had, actually. Like, I think there's probably 5 decent teams. Samoa underperformed 2 years ago. I think they were missing a few players in that tournament. I think they prioritized maybe the Pacific Games was on around the same time. I think they prioritized that. We have seen them in the last year. I think they have beaten Vanuatu at least once. And so I'm expecting them to be a little bit stronger this time around. So for us, we've got Papua New Guinea in the first game. Straight up, we're into playing them. So I think getting those 2 games against Fiji in advance will hopefully put the girls in good stead. But it's a morning game on the 9th of September against Papua New Guinea. So that'll be an instant judge of how we're going. Samoa will be playing the Philippines that afternoon. And then the following morning, we've got Samoa. So a bit tough on Samoa. They play the afternoon and then straight away the following morning. We get a little bit more rest than they do. So that game will be the big game, won't it? And then, the Philippines, look, they had us in trouble back in June. They had us, 40 for 7 or something. But we did eventually bowl them out in that game for 25 or whatever it was. So, hopefully that's another game that we can target and look to get a similar result. But that Samoa game, certainly looking at the fixtures, it looks like the big one. Papua New Guinea, we haven't played them in a couple of years. They're always strong. If our girls play well, there's no reason why we can't compete with them. Topping the group would be fantastic. Obviously, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, and Indonesia are all quite well-ranked teams. They're all ranked pretty high. But Papua New Guinea are ranked, top 15, I think, and Indonesia, I think, are ranked 20, and Vanuatu is still still up there somewhere in around 30, I think. So it's going to be a competitive tournament for sure. And I think that if our girls can get it right, they've shown enough signs that they can compete with these teams. But it's a tournament being played on synthetic, um, so that probably negates some of our strength. With our spin bowling particularly. Um, but yeah, look, we've got we're a better team now than I think we were 2 years ago. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to compete. Hopefully, Erica Oda is back to full fitness after her injury in June. Hopefully, Akali Nishimura is back to full fitness as well. So yeah, plenty of competition for places. Shimiko Kato, as I mentioned, is back in the team as well. So look, it's a strong group of players, and I think that hopefully it's one that can go and give the other teams a run.
Yeah, I hope Japan can get through to the next, to the finals at least. Of course, Papua New Guinea very strong, ranked 12th in the world, and Indonesia also in the top 20, ranked 20. So, um, no reason why then you've got Vanuatu at 33. But I think Japan's women's team's improving all the time and getting better. So, there's no reason why they can't get near the top of the group, even top of the group. I think they wouldn't be shocked if they won their 3 games and got through the top of the group. So, very exciting times. Hopefully, you can get through to a big final.
Yeah, so the top two teams go through into semi-finals. So then we'd have to play. If we did get through, we'd be playing, either I guess Indonesia or Vanuatu. That should be an interesting group as well. They've got Fiji and the Cook Islands, the other two teams in that group, and probably expect Vanuatu and Indonesia to get through out of that one. So yeah, like I said, sort of five pretty decent, strong teams, and three that are still developing, which makes that competition for semi-final spots pretty interesting. And who knows, once when you get that, trying to predict women's cricket is not the easiest of things to do. So, and again, as we said with the men T20 cricket, you just need that one player to get away, and hopefully Fiji's a good host. I'm sure it will be. It should be an exciting tour. And that one will be
Definitely
able to watch. All the
will
matches
be.
available on ICC TV.
Oh,
Um,
great. Fantastic.
we'll be tuning in to watch those for sure.
Beautiful. No, yeah, I was about to ask you if they'd be streamed, which is great to see. So we can all tune in, cheer on Japan.
Absolutely. So I think that's probably the end of our international section, Toddy. You've been following the domestic stuff. Anything you want to talk to us since our last chat?
I jumped on the to do some research today and looking at the scores, and I was like, gee, no one played. And then I looked at the weather forecast and saw it was 38 degrees with the feels like of 45. And I thought, oh, maybe that cooled off. And then Alan let me know just before we came to record that, of course, it was too hot and decided to call those games off. Will they be a tie, Alan? They get rescheduled? What's the go with that?
No, it's treated the same as the rain.
Yeah,
They're just points are shared. It's frustrating having to call off games of cricket, but safety comes first. We've got to look after the players when you're playing, and yeah, heat that extreme. It's just not practical, unfortunately, and sensible decision made to call the games off last weekend. I was consulted on it, but ultimately those decisions are ones we try and put onto the committees. We have committees to run these competitions and try and encourage them to take have autonomy to make those decisions. But we do have a weather policy in place that does say, once you're getting to a certain point, actually probably just need to call off games. Because it's not just the players you have to look after, you have to look after the umpires as well. So yeah, it's a hot day for an umpire standing out there, particularly the JCL T20, that it's the same two umpires doing both games back to back. So yeah, we'll look after those guys too. So yeah, a bit of a disappointment in the JCL T20, but there's been some more Division One stuff going on, isn't there, Todd?
I think they got called off on the weekend because of the heat
Oh,
too.
those ones did too.
Yeah, they both got called off, so I'm guessing they'll be, yeah, treated as a tie, no result too. So
Yeah. This is the problem, Toddy. We're getting back into regular podcasting. There's actually if we're doing it every week, there's not that much to talk about, especially if the weather gets involved. There is other stuff to discuss though. I mentioned the ICC AGM, but the other bits of news that have been floating around is the Olympics. So the plenty of rumors. I don't know if anything is actually confirmed or if these are just rumors, but what I've been hearing, we know that there's going to be 6 teams. But the news doing the rounds at the moment is it would be the highest ranked team from Africa, Asia, Europe, and Oceania, plus the hosts. So the USA do get a place at the tournament, and then one extra qualifying team, which is yet to be determined how that is. Now, that European spot is an interesting one because I don't know how England, Team GB, are going to compete. Or, a lot of the time in team sports, where we have this, particularly like in football, for example, the only time England have, or the only time Team GB have competed in football was when we hosted the Olympics in 2012. So, what will we do with cricket? Will we have a Team GB? Will England take part? The interesting one about the West Indies is that they will choose a team through their domestic competition. So, the domestic competition winner will compete for a place somehow. So, what do you make of all of that, Toddy?
Yeah, it's interesting with England. I didn't even think about that, how they compete. They play as England or Team GB. I guess they probably have to compete as Team GB.
Yeah, or just not at
Um,
all.
well, there's no England, so yeah, interesting. I find it very interesting. I find it interesting how they're going to find this one qualifying spot. Who's going to get it? Like, what are we going to have? Global qualifying and all
Yeah.
these ranks where everyone goes through qualifying, which would be great. I reckon it'd be fantastic to see a big qualifying tournament where, you go through your region and then the winner goes to the next stage and, regions meet up to play and like all other tournaments do.
I mean,
That
if
would be
you look at that,
fantastic.
if you look at that now, one team from Africa, so that's probably going to be South Africa. That'd be the highest ranked, you'd assume. Australia would be the highest ranked from Oceania. India, probably the highest ranked from Asia. And then if it's not England, you're probably looking at Ireland as the highest ranked team
Mm.
in Europe, right? So suddenly you've got, three powerhouses, then you've got Ireland. Um, and then you've got all these teams, New Zealand, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, that are not on that list. So they're going to want to be involved in it. So they're going to have to come up with some kind of structure. I hope they don't go down the rankings route. I think the rankings is just not an adequate way of providing qualification. Like you said, a tournament where there's something. Look, they've still got 3 years to figure this out how they do it. But hopefully they do come up with some kind of showpiece qualifying event that would be good to watch. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just do it off World Cup placings or something at the next T20 World Cup. But we'll see.
Yeah, it'd be good if the ICC got involved a bit more and just sort of said, no, everyone wants to play more cricket, especially associate nations. Let's do some kind of pathway where everyone can have a chance to compete, at least in a qualifying tournament, just through their regions. Like, imagine having I don't know, EAP or Asia Olympic qualifying stage, whatever it is, in Sano. Would be fantastic, wouldn't it? You know,
Bring New
or in
Zealand
a
up.
tournament somewhere, to get through to the next stage. Like, it would bring a lot. It would be a lot for cricket in some countries, especially associate countries. If they could win and progress, and then it's all the Olympics is in the cricket. I think it would be good for progress in associate nations.
Yeah, there's so much talk, isn't there, about what the Olympics can bring and how powerful it can be for cricket. If it is just six teams closed shop, no opportunity, it kind of feels a bit hollow, doesn't it? So it would be great if there was some kind of official tournament that we can say, well, yeah, we took part in Olympic qualifying, even if it was just a one tournament that we ended up playing against New Zealand or whatever. But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. The other interesting one, Toddy, is the Asian Games has also been in the news again. Now that one is coming up a bit faster and obviously an important one for Japan, given that it's being hosted in Aichi, Nagoya. There's a few rumors knocking around about that one. Did you want to run through those?
Yeah, so there's definitely a few rumors going around about this one. So the rumors going around is men's top 10 in ICC team rankings. So it's a big five plus UAE, Nepal, Oman, Kuwait, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi, Singapore, and Japan.
Yeah, so that's based on the rankings right now. So you know, looking at the big five of obviously the full members: India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, UAE, and Afghanistan. So at the moment, yeah, UAE, Nepal, Oman, Kuwait, and Hong Kong would be the next five. Malaysia ranked 25. Japan are ranked down at 43 at the moment. So, excuse me, we've got a bit of ground to make up if that's the case. Now, last time out, the UAE, Oman, Qatar, and Kuwait, Saudi, and Bahrain did not enter.
Ooh.
So if that happens, suddenly Japan are ranked 10th. Cambodia would be the next team behind us. So, it's an interesting situation to be in. We don't really know if those teams are going to enter teams again. The reason they didn't enter last time around is because their teams don't have suitable number of players who meet the eligibility criteria. Passport holders is the way forward, but I know that Oman did create a team of passport holders only. I don't think they've played any T20Is. I don't know if they've played anything, to be honest. But I would hope that they wouldn't just put in teams for their first ever matches because they've got passports and because that allows them to be involved and perhaps unlock some extra funding for them. Hopefully, it would be as it was 2 years ago. And I mean, the most important thing really is automatic qualification for the hosts. We've just been talking about the Olympics and how the USA have got automatic qualification in a 6-team tournament. It would be slightly bizarre if in a 10-team tournament, Japan were not given a place. And I mean, this doesn't just apply to the men's because the women's is even more important, perhaps. Toddy, you've got the list of teams that are going in that one.
Yeah, so in the women's tournaments, the women's top eight so the big four in the top eight in the rankings. So apart from the big four, I've got Thailand ranked 11, UAE 16, Indonesia 20, Nepal 21, Hong Kong 22, Malaysia 27, Myanmar at 35, and Japan at 39.
Yeah, so we've actually slipped a couple of places this morning. So we're down at 41 now, but I think that's because Sierra Leone and someone else has jumped up. So I think it's another Asian team that's overtaken us. But given where we currently are, Myanmar perhaps catchable, but the others are quite far ahead. So it's unlikely that we're going to be able to reach that whenever the cutoff time is. We will have obviously this tournament in Fiji, and as we mentioned, if we were able to knock over, like if we were to win that tournament, for example, and beat Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, Indonesia, these teams that are ranked high, then our ranking could get a huge boost, and that suddenly could become very relevant to this. Likewise, there's a Premier Cup next year, and I do wonder if they could use the Premier Cup to decide which teams get those places. The way the Premier Cup is set up is that the top 4 teams all go through to the Asia Cup. So, that would seem a fairly logical way of doing it, just saying, right, the 4 semi-finalists get their place. Although, frankly, as I've already said, I think Japan has to be given direct qualification. There's rumors that we won't, but I can assure everyone listening that we will be pushing very hard to make sure that Japan does get automatic qualification. Ultimately, it's not really our decision. I don't know whose decision it is, whether it's the ACC or whether it's the Olympic Council of Asia, the OCA. So we'll have to try and find that out. But I think that having a tournament without the host nation in it, well, it would beg the question of why we're doing it in the first place, and it would leave us probably not all that willing to help out. I would say.
You can't have a tournament like the Asian Games in a country and not let the hosting nation compete, especially when they are willing and more than able to compete. That's what it comes down to. It's not like ranked 80th or 90th or 100th, and they're really struggling in the region. Like they've won both men's and women's have both won games recently in the region and beaten good teams in the region. They're not just pushovers, like proper pathways. I just find it amazing that this is even being spoken about, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think the situation has probably come up because China did not compete last time out. They opted not to put in their men's or their women's teams. Um,
Okay.
and last time out, there were basically every team that wanted to compete was allowed to compete. That did lead to some pretty one-sided games. That pretty famous Nepal against Mongolia game where some guy hit a 9 ball 50 and fastest ever T20 100 was scored, and things like that. And perhaps that's played into limiting the number of teams this time around. But that's very reactionary. I haven't seen the schedule. I haven't seen what's possible in terms of the dates. But I don't I don't know why they feel the need to limit the teams in the way that they have. I suspect the structure will be something similar to last time, in that the four full member nations or the highest ranked teams all get a pass to the quarterfinal, and everyone else is fighting out for four spots. Um, that seems to be the method they go with, and then quarterfinal, semi-final, final. Um, but we're still very keen to get some kind of proper legacy out of this event, and hopefully bring someone or anyone to Sano to whether it's train or play some warm up games. I don't know what's possible there, and who knows if anything will happen. But we want to make sure that this tournament has a real legacy, and being in it is certainly an important part of that, I would say.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Japan have to be competing in the tournament. So getting to the cricket side of things to the tournament, so it's no cricket in Sano. It's all down in Ochi.
Yeah, so it's all down in Aichi, Nagoya. The ground is, as far as I know, I have to say very clearly that this is not me speaking on behalf of the JCA. This is just me speaking as a cricket fan. Really, I have no involvement in what's happening with the Asian Games, but to my understanding, there is a venue's been discovered, and work has, it's either begun or it's due to begin pretty soon. Trying to figure out the right clay to put down. I mean, this is your area of expertise, Todd. What we're going to put down for the pitch is one area of discussion. And it's not long to go. It's a year away, so getting something down pretty soon, I would say, is going to be important. And I don't know either if there's been a bit of rumor and counter rumor around whether the ground will stay as a legacy facility and be a permanent cricket ground down there. Certainly, I hope so. But no confirmation either way on that at this point. But it was also good to see the release went out. I don't know if anyone saw it on our social media. We are advertising out for volunteers. I say we, the Olympic Council are. And I think it'd be a really fun event to be involved with. If you do particularly live in Aichi, or if you live somewhere within traveling distance of Nagoya, a chance to hang out with these teams, potential team liaisons, potential. I mean, there's so many roles. I know from having been at the Asian Games 2 years ago, there was lots and lots of people. The volunteers in China were fantastic. So hopefully Japan can put up a good group as well, and a great opportunity for us to educate some new people about cricket, and a great opportunity for cricket fans in Japan to have some involvement.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone wants to volunteer, of course, it'd be great to get down there and help out. Just touching on the clay and the ground and all that, um, is very challenging to, as we know, to find the right clay for Japan. Of course, Japan has 5 seasons, as you know, Alan. That's
Indeed.
for those who don't know, it's very challenging. The weather is very all over the place, as in with the seasons. They come very quick and they go very quick, but they're very different to each other. So it is challenging, as we've seen at the SICG, to get cricket wickets up. So it'd be interesting to see how they go down in Nagoya, where they get their clay from. They might get it from India or Pakistan or Thailand, I'd say probably. That wouldn't surprise me if they ship it in from somewhere.
So one requirement is that there's a test event is held. So we've had some initial discussions about what that might be. So there will be something held down in Nagoya. I mean, it could just be one match, but hopefully we might look at trying to do some kind of full tournament down there, which would give us an idea of how the pitch is playing. That would most likely be in, I don't know, May or June probably. But again, lots still to be decided on that front. But yeah, there's a lot to work towards, I guess, with these multi sport games, and how cricket fits in. It's great that it's in there, but it does provide some logistical challenges. But hopefully it's a big boost to cricket in Japan. I mean, that's certainly what we all want. There's so many ways that it can be, and I think we're all just hoping it's not a missed opportunity. It is going to take up a lot of our time and a lot of put a lot of pressure on our staff. But if we get it right and we do it well, then yeah, it's a terrific opportunity to open up the game to a new audience and get new people involved. And that's ultimately what we're all trying to do at the JCA all the time.
Yeah, it'd be good if we could extend cricket. Is there cricket in Nagoya at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, they play in the Tokai Japan Cup round, so they play most of the games at Fuji, I believe.
Oh, of course.
So, but there's it's a big city, it's a big population. If we had a cricket ground down there, I've no doubt that the cricket would grow. I mean, you just have to look at Kaisuka and what having a ground in Osaka has done for the number of teams playing down there. It used to be 4 or 5 teams, mainly playing at a university ground on a flicks pitch, and now there's 2 divisions in the Japan Cup. And it's growing all the time. So, if we build it, they will come, as the saying goes.
We'll do that with a new cricket city down there in Aichi, which would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I know that our CEO and head of strategy were down in Nishin City, which is going to be the host city. So they paid a visit down there relatively recently. So yeah, hopefully it is something that stays and has a lasting legacy. I'm sure it's not the last time we'll be discussing it on the pod, Todd.
Well, they want to get the wicket down pretty soon, I tell you. They've only got a year to go. So all these things come together pretty quickly, though. So I'm sure it'll be a great success.
Fingers crossed. Cool. Well, that's all from me, I think, Tolly. I haven't got anything else to roll out. Anything
I
on your
was
books that you wanted to get to?
just going to ask you, what did you think of the England carry on about the batting in the Test match yesterday?
I kind of missed it because the women's football had started.
Oh, I had it.
But are
Yeah,
you are you talking about the
well,
going to shake hands and India wanting to
well,
bat?
they kept batting. I mean, so that it could be. So I'm just getting up the scorecard here. Yeah,
So
they kept. I
Washington.
mean, they'll fall down, and they kept batting so that Gill and Sundar and Jadeja could hit their hundreds.
Hmm,
But I mean, they'll fall for 400.
yeah, yeah. I saw that Stokes went to offer a handshake when they were both on about 80, and
Mm.
everyone was kind of done, and Harry Brook was bowling, like the game was over. Um, but look, I mean, it's funny. I think personal milestones they matter a lot to some people and they don't matter at all to others. So for Sundar, it was his first 100. Um,
Mm.
but I mean, for me, if that's me, it would have a bit of an asterisk by it in the end because yeah, he's made 100 and that's great, but he'll know that he made it against some pretty, you know, part-time bowling towards the end there. So, but look, I guess he's earned the right to do that. He batted all day pretty much. He was in from one of the first overs, I think. So look, he's earned the right to score his 100. I get it. I get why they kept batting. I don't love it, but at the same time, I guess they would say that England trying to get off the field was purely to deny them the hundreds. I think that England were just knackered after bowling for 5 sessions. But yeah, I think that these things it just adds a bit more spice going into the last test, I guess.
Yeah, I see it as if it was the other team the other way that do the same thing. Like I don't think it's not just specific to England. Anyone would be like, no, we want them to get their hundreds.
Mm.
So yeah, but I mean that would just be Ben Stokes going, oh, can we just get off this ground? I'm just over it, like
Yeah,
hurry up.
yeah, 100%. And
Obviously, that's why I brought on Harry Brook to bowl.
yeah, I think it's a bit of a non-story to be honest. But it's like I said, it fills a few more column inches, gets a few more people talking, and adds a bit more coming into the final test. It'll be interesting to see. I know from Stokes' point of view, I haven't read anything or seen any interviews, but I'd be absolutely certain that he really wanted to win that game so that he could sit out the final test. Um, but now he's probably going to have to play another 5 days of cricket, and the pitches in England all 4 test matches so far have gone 5 days. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, I find the wickets a bit interesting this series. A bit different to what we see in some places around the world now, where they make them a bit more bowler friendly. But
Mm, yeah,
over there, I mean, this test match it was 1,450 runs.
yeah, it's a lot of runs.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, it's great they're going 5 days, but it's a real fine line. You try and prepare one where it's a little bit bowler friendly, and it goes the other way in the first innings or the first session. Then you got a 3 day, 2.5 day test match. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough one, but we want to all see them go to the fifth day. But yeah, it's a bit of a fine line. You don't want to be the one who makes it go the other way too much, and then it's all over in three. So it's interesting.
I think everyone, reacts very quickly to whatever has just happened. This
Mm,
is the first draw of the series. Yeah, the other pitches have been flat too, but we got results out of them. So
yeah,
I don't really see it as a problem, although it is a mildly concerning trend. Um, but at this point, I think, 3 out of 4 results. The weather hasn't played a part in this game being a draw. So yeah, test matches are designed to be 5 days. If you can't get a result out of 5 days, then on we go to the next game.
yeah, I agree. And I think the batting at the moment in world cricket is elite. Like they
There's some good
don't
players
just go
around.
at they just bat and bat and bat. They bat time, you know, and they're if the ball stops swinging or the wicket's a bit flat, you pretty much can't get them out unless they get themselves out. So it's interesting.
It is indeed. Well, all to play for in the next test. All
That's
right,
it.
Toddy, I got to wrap up. My phone is going off. I got a few more calls to make, but great chatting to you as always. And yeah, we'll do this again soon.
Thanks, mate. See ya.